This is the hardcore icon, Just Incredible, and you're listening to the Wrestling Paradox Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back inside the Wrestling Paradox Podcast. And boy, oh boy, do we have a show for you. We say that every week, and every week I feel like we deliver. What's up, Chris?
What up?
How's everything, buddy?
Living the dream.
You know, I feel like I usually say that right after I want to kill myself after a long day at work.
Right. So I'm living the dream.
Glad to see how your day went today, pal. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, inside the Paradox, I am Joseph Anthony. That is Chris Thrasher, and you are here again on another interview night. And we're gonna get into that in just a moment. We'll get the sponsorship out of
This
the
is a
way.
special one.
Oh, it's a very special
One we've been trying to get for weeks.
We finally got it.
Yeah.
We finally got it. We're here. M&J Ecological, 305-697-2258. Make sure you guys give them a call, 305-697-2258. Marcus Andrade is standing by. He will take care of all your pests, iguanas, snakes, lizards, whatever the hell you want to get rid of in your front yard, backyard, whatever you got invading your house as a nuisance. My wife, make sure you guys give Marcus a call, 305-697-2258. If you guys want to become a wrestler in the Florida region, there's only one territory left in Florida, and that is CCW, Coastal Championship Wrestling. You can find them on Twitter at CCWFL. And one thing that we love about working directly with CCW and them being one of the last remaining territories in Florida is we get to meet all types of amazing people and all types of amazing athletes and wrestlers. We've ran across Chris's favorite, Gary Wolf, the Pitbull. We've ran across Sandman. We've ran across people like JPH out of Chicago, Matt Justice representing Ohio. You come across so many great people, and we did come across JPH in Tennessee at Enter the Machine, starring Brian Cage and Casey Navarro. And before they had their show, they had a seminar. And two guys really stood out to us during that seminar, and they got a chance to compete that night. They were chosen. And those two guys were JPH and James Creed. James Creed and JPH took a ride down from Chicago, helped set up the ring, helped get the whole night prepared, did the seminar, performed on the show, stayed after, and broke down the ring. And then they left. Then they came down to Florida. And again, we saw James Creed and JPH at our Summer Glory show, or our anniversary show.
Anniversary, yep.
Anniversary. And James Creed did it in Tennessee, and he did it again in Florida, and he made us fucking pop. All right? I don't pop for anything anymore. I saw Sting after like 3 years in AEW, and I was like, oh, that guy with the bat's back. Nothing makes me pop. Even Goldberg, I'm like, oh god, his head's through another fucking door. But something did make me pop, and that was the elbow drop by James Creed, as you can see right here. James Creed is somebody we've been trying to get on this podcast for a long time, and ladies and gentlemen, we've been saying his name enough. We got to welcome the best elbow drop in indie wrestling right now, the sharpshooter himself, James Creed. Welcome inside the Paradox, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
God,
Very much looking forward to this.
Yes, sir. We cannot wait to have Jesus. God, my girlfriend.
It's been a couple weeks in the making now.
Yes.
This has been a long time in the making. It has been amazing to watch your career and to learn who you were months ago, and then just fall in love with you as a wrestler, and to finally have you on the show after about a month of trying to get you on here. We finally got you, and we couldn't be more excited.
Likewise, man. Likewise. Very looking forward to this. I've been, ever since you guys came up to me at the Florida show, I don't think we got a chance to meet at the Nashville seminar, but
no, we watched you though. We watched you.
You guys had very nice things to say about me, and very much appreciative of that. Thank you.
Well, I mean, the proof's in the pudding. It's like we're not gonna blow smoke up your ass, and everything like that. You showed us.
Fairness, I thought you were Matt Jackson.
Oh man.
No, the
Just
Road
without
Warrior
the
buck.
long hair.
Not the no. I'm sorry, Nick. Then the Road Warrior buck, not the balding one.
Hey, easy.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
No. I like those guys. Those guys are awesome. But no, man, you made it. You did something that made us pop, and we had to show our gratitude for that because it's not a feeling we have very often anymore, especially being older in the business. I'm sure you know that. I mean, when we were kids, it was easy to have Stone Cold open a Raw, and everybody lost their fucking minds.
Mhm.
Nowadays, like you see people show up, and you're like, oh shit, what's up, man? You're still doing this, you know?
Right.
We just don't have that anymore. So it was really cool. So thank you for that. So let's get into
Thank you.
it. James Creed out of Chicago. Where are you wrestling? Where can people find you? Where's your home at? Like, what are you doing, man?
I am based out of Sniper City, USA, baby. Currently training, and my home company is Southland Championship Wrestling, SCW, right there. Got to represent. But no, I started about 2 years ago.
You fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
I don't really know if you want to count last year, 2020. I think I had only 6 or 7 matches total last year. And yeah, I had my very first debut match February 23rd of 2019.
Wow.
That's awesome, man. Where did it
Like,
come so natural? That fucking we showed it a second ago. That elbow drop. Where did it come so natural?
I don't know why it became so natural. Maybe just part of being a lifelong fan, but I just got tired of seeing certain guys, especially on the indie scene, just using the elbow drop as a transitional move, just another move, and with very crappy form too. Like, you gotta freaking pop it at the end. You have to. You have to.
Fucking
And,
guillotine.
honestly, like, yeah, you guys said it before. It is one of the best looking elbow drops in the game right now. Not just on the end and the independents, but in the entire game right now.
Yeah, you don't see it nowhere.
Yeah, you just like mastered it. And for me to pop on an elbow drop, that's like because the only way I explained it when we on our first show back was you like floated, and then slowly pop the elbow, and it's like you don't see that. People like wrestlers nowadays just want to rush and rush their moves to get to the next move,
Yeah.
get to the next move. They don't want to perfect that one move.
Mhm.
And I think that's what's missing in wrestling.
Yeah,
I
it
agree.
reminded me a lot. I grew up watching Paul Pierce, or not Paul Pierce, Ray Allen. I grew up a lot watching Ray Allen, and one of Ray Allen's things was his 3-point shot. And when he shot, he jumped up and it felt like he stayed in the air for his shot. Like he did not on his way down shoot. No, he stayed up there for a solid second and a half. You're the same way. When you're in midair, dude, you're like floating. You're just hanging on there, and it's crazy to see. But that's enough about the elbow drop because there are so many different facets of James Creed that deserve to have the light shined on them, and that's what we're gonna do tonight. So
we're gonna put the crosshairs on them.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well,
I was just gonna pander to you all. I love it though. Keep it going. James Creed, who was your first match against?
My first match was actually a tag team match with who would later be my tag team partner, Max Blaylock. We were teaming for just under 2 years. We have fortunately had creative differences and we had to split. But that was against Adam Cage and Andy Black. So.
Mm-hmm. And are you still working with those guys today?
Myself and Adam Cage are the only 2 out of the 4 that are still working in general.
And where does JPH fall in all that? Because it feels like you and JPH are almost tied at the hip now with your traveling and everything. You seem really excited about that. So please dive into your relationship with JPH and how that came to, because you guys really click.
JPH also kind of helped I don't want to say bring me under his wing, but I want to say kind of took a liking to me because he was one of my main training partners. Him and also Max really helped me be who I am right now. And then in September, myself and Max, we were known as the modern day sharpshooters. And me and or us two, along with JPH, we were traveling a lot together. Then we've also had a couple matches against each other. And we just got tired of working against each other. So we decided to be the three workhorses and form the Death Ride. And uh, me and JPH have actually had a couple tag team matches together out in Wisconsin. And yeah, me and him had some really natural chemistry together for being our first time teaming up. It was really nice. Then the trios thing kind of got split up. So now me and JPH are kind of doing our own little singles thing. But when the time calls for it, we'll team up.
I like Death Ride. I like that a lot more than Death Triangle. That sounds good. Dude, Death
Wait,
Ride's
Death
awesome.
Ride?
You want to know what's funny is, James touched on like chemistry. Joe, if you ever want to go back and watch a really good three-way match where there's chemistry, it's James, JPH, and Max Blaylock.
Mhm.
That it's you don't see that on the indies. The indies there's always going to be one that's above the other two. It's always either going to be a squash or something along those lines. It was so even keel to where you halfway through the match you didn't know who was going to win.
And that's one of the exciting things about the indies is it almost feels like territory days.
Mhm.
And that's what made wrestling great is not everybody like mashed potatoes. Some people like broccoli, some people like corn. And down in Texas, they like Texas wrestling, Florida like Florida. And now that we're getting more and more into the indies and I feel like it's coming back, it's nice to be able to like, what else is in Chicago? And then we meet people like James Creed, who gives us that foot in the door for Chicago. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
now we're experiencing those other match, and you finding out about that three-way match and
Mhm.
falling in love with it is just proof in the pudding that whatever James Creed, I hate to talk about it third person, but whatever you're doing right, James. I mean, whatever you're doing up there, James, is working to have yourself noticed elsewhere throughout the states.
Well, I really appreciate that, man. I'm just constantly putting in the work inside the gym, been putting on some mass, and especially at the training center. I haven't missed a training day in at the training facility. The only time I missed a day is the day after I blew out my knee, and that was because I couldn't drive. But
Somebody give
I
me a goddamn ride.
no, seriously. I just came off of a triple shot weekend. Worked Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Worked 3 times on Sunday. Didn't know about it. Um, was only told I was only going to be working once. Turns out we were in a tag team tournament and we were going to the finals. So
That's always
yeah,
fun.
yeah. My knee just gave out. It was like a little freak accident, awkward landing, I guess. I don't know. I went for a high knee or V trigger, whatever you want to call it, and my left knee landed. It went out to the left, and my kneecap went into my thigh.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I have a video I can shoot you if you want
Please?
to see that.
Yeah.
I'll send it over to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll
But
actually play that video right here for you guys too.
and that happened on Sunday, and at the time training days were Monday and Wednesday, and I couldn't I couldn't drive, so I was like, yeah, I couldn't show up. Then on Wednesday I showed up on crutches. But like the old saying goes, you can always learn even if you're not doing something.
Mhm.
So I attribute that to possibly learning and making sure my footwork is on top of its game too, because I spent like 2 months just rehabbing and just sitting at ringside and watching everybody's footwork and watching what goes into that. So
Yeah, and you can also focus on like what else goes on like backstage and learn the behind the scenes of it, so you know how to run that kind of stuff. I mean, you look at someone like Billy Kidman right now. Billy Kidman was one of the greatest cruiserweights in that era of WCW and early 2000s and things like that. And now he's the timekeeper sitting next to Vince McMahon behind Gorilla at every show.
Right.
You know, making sure you're on commercials and everybody's running right on their times, and we have the next setup coming right now. You know, that's what Billy Kidman's doing, and he was one of the all-time greats for cruiserweights from my recollection. You know,
Mhm.
best elbow drop, best shooting star press. You're right there. But yeah, I mean, I know Chris is very excited because he wants to touch on some of your matches. He's been like a little fangirl all day, texting me. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. So I'll let
Yeah,
you go for it, Chris.
we chatted, via DMs about the one series or trilogy of matches that you had with John Hudson.
Mhm.
I think hands down your first match could go up again. It would go up in my top 5, maybe 10 or 5 best indie matches I've seen. The only reason
Really?
why is it told great stories. You had the comedic, mid where you guys both went for the WWE, finishers. Um, you hit a really great Canadian Destroyer into a Shining Wizard, which I thought was the end of the match. And then when he kicked out, I was like, and spoiler alert, Joe, um, Hudson gets the win, but it's there's some fuckery at the end, and it goes to a second one. And the second match, it was good, but it didn't live up to the first one.
Mhm.
But I guess you guys wanted to do that because the third one was just as good as the first one. The third one was the best 2 out of 3 falls. And it ended with the best elbow drop in the world.
I very much appreciate that, man. Yeah, I wanted to go even longer, but well, with the series type matches,
Mhm.
but Hudson unfortunately had to have a procedure done on his neck, and so yeah,
Oh, that's tough. That's tough.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's all good though. He should be back probably here in a couple months, hopefully. Just a little simple procedure.
Right
Um,
on.
so I want to
And
ask you.
great chemistry between all those matches. And
Thank
even
you.
some of the tag matches when you guys were the modern day sharpshooter against was it Elite Pain and then Hudson and his tag team partner.
Yep.
That was the great chemistry by all 6 of you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, Chris sent me the link. I'm gonna go back and watch those. I wanted to ask you. So sharpshooter, obviously after Bret Hart,
Yes.
and the elbow drop. Who was your favorite elbow drop? Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
So were you a Shawn Michaels kid or a Bret Hart kid? Because those were
Shawn
two
Michaels.
complete. So where'd the sharpshooter come from?
I like to execute my moves excellently.
Great fucking answer. God damn.
This kid just makes me pop every fucking time.
Do you know why Dan Housen is my favorite wrestler? And I've never
Why?
seen him wrestle. And I'm afraid to watch him wrestle because I'm going to end up hating it. But he's honest. Dan Housen's like, I do this because I want to make money. And you're honest. You're like, I do this because I want to perfect everything. Like that's what I love about that's what I love about indie wrestlers. It's getting these kids to fall in love. I say kids, but you're a grown ass man. It's getting these younger guys to fall in love with the sport again and make sure everything's perfect. And we don't get that right now on TV. That's why we fall in love with indie wrestling is because you guys have to be perfect in the ring on indie or in indie wrestling. Because if you're not perfect, you hurt the next guy. And if you hurt the next guy, then the next guy doesn't want to work with you.
Yep.
After
Become unsafe, or you end up on Botchamania.
Yeah, right next to Seth Rollins. Sorry, Sting. So, but no, I mean, so when is the next time we get James Creed in South Florida? Because I got a list today from the owners of CCW. I requested a list on all future shows, and fuck, there's a lot.
There's one in Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought you were headlining.
No, there is. I watched was it the Minute to Bell podcast, their daily show, and Nelio was on it the other day, and Nelio announced that there's going to be a show in Chicago. He's trying to hammer down the location, but he's looking for a location that'll hold 700 to 800 people.
Do you know what the date is?
Do not. I think he said sometime in September. Don't quote me on that.
So yeah, so I have all the way up until July in my
Mhm.
phone. I don't have anything after that. But yeah, no, there's if there's a show in Chicago, James Creed and JPH need to be on that card.
For sure. I mean, I would love to come down to Florida anytime, honestly. As long as I'm free, as long as JPH is free. Man, we love Florida. We love
got
the
to get
weather
you
down
down
there.
here
We
for a
love the
bash
locker
at the
room,
Brew
man.
Show. We
Very
gotta get you
welcoming.
Bash
I
at
loved
the
it.
Brew Show. Have you seen any of the highlights for Bash at the Brew?
Yes, I've been keeping up on their YouTube channel.
So they didn't post it. However, we are the one-time former 24/7 365 champions. We won a
I've
title.
seen that.
We won a
That
title.
was a loaded clipboard.
That was
seen
a
it.
loaded fucking fuck. Doctor said neck brace off between 9:30 and 10:30, so it hurts a little bit. Still dies. I'm still selling it. I'm calling my fucking lawyer. Who was that guy that got slapped by Dr. D. David Schultz like years ago?
Oh, man.
The reporter.
He's on ABC News.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was like
yeah.
me. Did you ever watch his Dark Side of the Ring?
Yeah.
The guy's like, maybe my ear stopped hurting, but I was waiting for that check.
Yeah.
What? You just said that? McMahon's coming for you, my boy. But no, dude, the Bash at the Brew Show, two guys who are not wrestlers at all, obviously, maybe in our high school days, but that crowd popped for us, man. It was
Hell
like
yeah.
the coolest fucking feeling to have that adrenaline shooting through both our bodies. Like we both sat down afterwards and I was like, I blacked out. That's what happens. You have all that adrenaline shooting through your body. I feel like I just beat Roman Reigns for the fucking time. I mean, I could have. Did you see that roll up? That was the coolest fucking roll up ever. Best sharpshooter or best shooting star press, best elbow drop, best roll up. We got it all, baby. Here inside the Paradox.
But it's not even that. It's just the atmosphere in the.
Mhm.
You're in the back of a brewery, and
Mhm.
it's the seats are literally on top of the guardrail, and to start the night, we won a title and loaded clipboard, shenanigans, whatever. But
Shenanigans.
but to start the show off, you had American Horror Story, which is Alex Ocean, Agony, and Jackal versus Vic Arson, Miami Mike, and I don't remember who was the third.
Oh, it was some Chilean dude. I don't remember.
Was it Montoya? No, it wasn't Montoya.
No.
I can't remember. But the six-way, you had Agony walk 3/4 of the way on the top rope to start the night off and hit the Undertaker arm drag. Then he does a dive off the top rope. I mean, the place was just
And
booming.
he's injured through all this. Like,
Yeah.
he's injured. He told me I had heard through his agent that he was injured. But no, I look at someone like you, Mr. James Creed, and I see a lot of obviously a lot of Shawn Michaels portraying through your character and the way you carry yourself in the ring. What when you were growing up, was being a wrestler is always something that you wanted to be?
100%, man.
Always knew it, like it's always
ever
clicked in your head.
Ever since I was 3 years old, man. I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to get a real job, as they call it. But no, man, I knew from the first second I laid eyes on professional wrestling, I was instantly hooked.
There you go.
It's so dope. I mean, I think that's with everyone that's either in the wrestling business or has been in touch with the wrestling business in some sort of way. It's
Mhm.
you're always at a young age when you catch it, on TV or something along those lines, that you get hooked instantly, and you always want to be around wrestling. You're watching it, reading about it, writing about it,
Mhm.
talking about it, or anything. So
Yeah. I remember watching Stone Cold on sitting down on the second rope in the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
And it's like 1996 or 95. That was like one of my first. I was like 7 years old, and he's just looking at his watch, and I'm like, dude, this guy's the coolest fucking guy around, man. Like people are just coming out and beating the shit out of him, and I'm like, oh, fuck you, Savio Vega, get out of here.
like, I mean, I remember like early in Stone Cold's career when he became Stone Cold, his strap matches with Savio Vega, like,
God.
but what got me hooked on wrestling, I think it was WrestleMania 9 when it was in Vegas in the Coliseum.
Mhm.
I think that was always going to stand out to me because you had like Bobby Heenan and Mean Gene Okerlund coming out on elephants. It's just like you don't lose
Like
those kind of
larger
memories.
than life shit, man.
Yeah,
And
you don't
that-
lose them.
Exactly. You make those. You always have these long-lasting impressions, and when you're a kid, especially, you always want to go, I want to be like that. You see characters like Hogan and Warrior and you're just drawn to them, man. Like
Mhm.
larger than life superstars.
Yeah, like it's just a crazy like everyone goes, well, why do you watch professional wrestling? You know it's fake. Yeah, I do, but I watched at a young age. It's like a woman that watches soap operas. It's a male soap opera. I turn it on, and I can go in the kitchen, and I can come back, and I know what's going on. Like
Mhm.
even if I missed an hour, I can come back. I know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's but it's different when you're there. And Joe and I have been to AEW Bash at the beach down here a couple of years ago, and
Mhm.
going to an indie show compared to a big show like that, I'd prefer the indie show.
Oh, much more in touch with the crowd. I
Yep.
Mhm.
mean, I constantly refer to the spot of Vince Steele and Vinicius going at it, going like pound for pound, just bouncing off each other, not moving and not falling. And they pan to the crowd, and the crowd's like picking up the guardrails and fucking shaking them. And it felt like just that old school. Obviously, nothing's ECW, but just felt like that old school crowd, man. Of just the when the crowd's involved, the crowd is just as important as the show. The wrestlers could have a 5-star match, but if nobody's cheering, it's a horrible match.
Exactly.
You
Crowd
know, so,
involvement is 100% into what makes a match.
yeah,
And if you can't work the crowd, if you can't make the crowd like on the edge of their seat, wondering who's gonna win this fight, then what are you doing in this business, man?
exactly.
From the word go, like as soon as the bell rings, you have to grab the fans' attention. If you
Before even the bell rings,
Mhm.
as soon as you make your entrance, you gotta have the crowd hooked. Make
case
them.
in case in point, at the anniversary show, you had it was supposed to be Jake St. Patrick versus Sebastian Cage in a one-on-one match, and
Mhm.
Will Austin makes a surprise entrance, makes a triple threat. As soon as the bell rang, they out to the outside, maneuvers, high spots. It got the crowd going.
Yeah, they had
Right.
like they were like 12, and that was I think curtain to curtain, and
Hmm.
they took advantage of every second they had. It was nonstop.
Yep.
Um,
And I actually felt bad. I even said this to Will. I said, Will, that is probably one of the best matches I've seen live. And I guess I'm not just because I'm friends with you or anything like that. It's just from the word go, you had the fans hooked. There was no downtime. There was no missed spots. But I actually felt bad for the match that was after that because it was Ariel Levy and Venetius versus the Headbangers.
Mhm.
And that match before the triple threat was so high that the air was sucked out of the building.
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah,
they
And
it
didn't
that's
was.
keep
what
up with that.
sucks. And that's what sucks after some talent put on like anywhere puts on a hell of a match,
Mhm.
and it sucks for the people to follow it. That's why you kind of like for whoever the promoter or booker is, that's why you got to kind of
Yeah,
pace your show, you know, you got to kind
yeah,
of anticipate that.
Yeah,
yeah.
and I mean, you for us. I mean, I'm friends with him. I know Juice won that battle royal, but I
Mhm.
didn't walk away from that battle royal with Juice James won. I walked away with the battle royal of I gotta go find James Creed and talk to him and figure out how I can get him on my fucking show.
Man, my neck
Our
is still
show,
hurting
Chris.
from that clothesline.
Our show. Uh,
Yes, that clothesline was, very, very
yeah.
brutal.
So we play a couple games here inside the Paradox, and I want to play a game with you because you are our first person from Chicago.
Okay.
That's where you're from, right? You
Yes,
in
sir.
Illinois? Okay. Don't fucking call me sir, man. So we're gonna do our one-word association game, but this is Chicago edition wrestlers. So
Oh
I'm
god.
gonna name off about 5 or 6 wrestlers, and you're gonna give me one-word association. First word to pop in your head. So I'll get the obvious one out. CM Punk,
Pepsi.
Pepsi.
Hey, you said the word.
No, it's not even that. I'm just thinking of something else. Chris, you know what I'm
What?
talking about? You know what I'm thinking about?
Yeah, yeah.
We'll talk after the show. I'll tell you exactly what's going through my mind. All
Oh
right,
god.
second person, and I didn't know he was from Chicago until I did this research. But Scrap Daddy, Adam Pierce,
Legend.
legend. Kalisto,
Talented.
Colt Cabana,
Comedic genius.
comedic genius. I'll take 2 words on that one. All right.
There's a hyphen there. There's a
My
hyphen
last
there.
one, and this guy is probably it was one of my favorite wrestlers for a solid year there on Monday Night Raw, and I feel like just Retribution fell apart, and it was just a horrible storyline. But Mustafa Ali.
Mustafa Ali.
I'm sorry. Fucking tell me he's gonna be on the show next week.
Right. We're not watching Lion King.
Underrated.
Underrated. Care to tell me why he's underrated?
Never got a chance to really show what he's capable of.
Do you think he showed what he was capable of and it just wasn't Vince's style? Because there was like a year there where I was like all about Ali and everything about him. I was like, this guy's amazing.
He, like, coming off of his 205 Live run, which was probably some of his best work alongside Buddy Murphy, in my eyes. Then when he got that call up to do SmackDown, I feel like he was in line to get like that Kofi style push. Maybe not as big, but if he didn't get injured, Kofi wouldn't have been into the match. You know,
that was the rumor. It was Ali's spot, and
yeah,
he got injured. They gave it to Kofi, but it should have been Ali. So that year of Kofi or whatever, 6 months of Kofi, but then it would have turned into Ali getting squashed by Brock on the first SmackDown, which is that really something we wanted to see.
Yeah,
you know,
I don't know. I feel like once he came back, he was back like 2 weeks after the Chamber, maybe a week after the Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but then they just dropped the ball with him. They didn't pick up where things left off, which I mean, I get that's wrestling. If you everybody's spot's on the line, you know, the show must go on. But I don't know. I feel like they could have done something more with that Retribution, but they didn't go anywhere with it, man.
Did you see the other night? 2 of them got unveiled. They got unmasked.
Yeah,
one of them looks really close. One of them looks really close to Donovan Dijak. Just saying, it could be the same person.
Yeah.
Twin brothers, maybe?
Just like
I don't know.
Dabba-Kato and Commander Aziz. Like we didn't see that guy 3 months ago on Raw Underground beating the shit out of everybody. Sorry, we forgot.
What about the Raw Ninja?
Dude, yeah, almost.
Amos?
Almost. I'm almost asleep watching that tag team match at WrestleMania. Dude, they booked that horrible.
Yeah.
They made New Day look like the biggest dickheads. And it I don't know. I just didn't like the way it looked. They beat down AJ to get almost in it was totally ass backwards. It didn't make sense. You know, how a match should. You know, you make AJ like this unstoppable guy who you can't get touched, and then you beat the shit out of him, and then he tags in almost. You don't dog him the whole match and have New Day like, picking on him and going at almost. That doesn't make sense. Have them afraid of almost. You know, turn it around a little bit. But I listen to Jim Cornette. I'm in the minority apparently, so what the fuck do I know?
There's your first mistake.
Well, I should listen to Conrad Thompson. Here, save your real estate and listen to this for 30 minutes before I talk about my show. That's what it is. There's no commercials here. There's no commercials here. But anyway, so where are we at, Chris?
I got a question. I have a question.
Yes.
So you're in Chicago, and SCW is your home, company promotion you work for. Mm-hmm. But you're in the heartbed. You're in like the heartbeat of professional wrestling. Growing up, did you go to any local shows, or did you go to like ROH when they were in town, or anything along those lines?
Believe it or not, I was not exposed to independent wrestling or minor leagues such as Ring of Honor or anything. I think I only went to one independent show when I was like 8, probably back in like 2002, 2003, and that was at the Hammond Armory in Indiana. But that was my only independent that I've gone to, besides the first day I took a bump. But I wasn't exposed to it. Like in high school, I knew of independents like New Japan and like all like that, but I didn't realize local independence. And if I would have been all over that, man. But
Yeah,
unfortunately, I wasn't exposed to it.
because around that time you probably had like
Oh, stars in Ring of Honor.
yes, oh my gosh, I mean hands down, you had Samoa Joe young, you had Austin Aries losing to huge squash matches.
You had CM Punk back
Yeah,
then going against
Jeff,
Raven in those matches. Oh my
yeah,
god, dude, some of
yeah,
the greatest matches I've ever seen.
yeah. And they used to film in Chicago.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
then they used to go on the road. They used to bounce back from Philly to Chicago. And that would be like the old school ECW days. They would just run those two buildings and they just generate a fan base. And oh my gosh, some of the matches, the storylines, El Generico and Kevin Owens, a year-long storyline where they wrestled like 2 times a month. It was just
Yeah.
all right, so a little something your speed then, I would say within the past few years. What was it? Chinkara Wrestling, I believe it was called. That was out of Chicago, wasn't it?
Chikara.
Chikara Wrestling. That was Orange Cassidy and his boys.
Yeah. I mean, I I s- I don't really know too much about Chikara. I
nobody
still
does.
That's like the comedy wrestling, isn't it? Isn't that
Yeah,
what
yeah,
that is?
but they do have the tournament of trios, which trios tag team, which tournament, which is actually very, very good. It's not more comedic. It's more like cartoony, like characters.
if you want to talk about Chicago based independence,
Mm.
I am very fortunate enough to have one of uh Windy City Pro Wrestling alumni's top champions that were ever there, top performers ever there, as my trainer, Hunter Payne. He was known then as Baltazar,
Mhm.
and he's 6'3", 6'4", 330 pounds, and yeah, he was in that Elite Pain tag team match
Okay,
that you saw. He was the really big bald-headed guy.
okay.
So yeah, he's my head trainer. So
Oh, right on,
Very
and
nice.
he knows his shit, man. Very grateful to have him.
right on, right on. Now, I've seen, some of your other matches that I found on the old interwebs. Um, I do, I remember this one, but I can't remember. I know you were in it. It looked like it was in a bar.
Ah, yes, yes. I
Can you talk about that ring, please?
Okay. Um, it was a low profile ring
Mm-hmm.
because the ceiling was like 10 feet, and it was one of our 21 and over shows, or our only 21 and over show. Uh, it was at a bar. Uh, I can't remember the name of the bar. It was an old distillery that Al Capone used to
Oh, okay.
like one of his old stomping grounds, and it was actually haunted. After the show, we actually did a tour of the whole entire place, and it was pretty awesome.
Oh,
But
awesome.
yes, I I worked. Ivan Manson
Yes. Okay.
is also another Windy City alumni,
Okay.
and he is also very good. Sorry. Shout out to you guys, Hunter Payne and Ivan Manson, man.
Uh,
Yeah.
You
But
guys are awesome.
Joe, you had like the ring is low profile. It's literally not even a half a foot up off the ground.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it's
Alex Ocean was in one of those matches, a hardcore match one time. I've seen him. I'm like, dude, what is that ring? Like, as soon as you
and
mentioned a low profile ring, I'm like, I know exactly what
oh
he's talking
man,
about.
they both took bums and then like the ring never moved. I'm like, oh,
No,
I'm like,
I had to
oh,
be as stiff as a board.
yeah, I'm like, oh, it was
See,
hurting me.
honestly though, that ring, like it can be a low profile or it can be a normal size ring. It can switch in between those, and that's still one of the best rings I've ever bumped in.
Oh,
Honestly,
Really?
it's weird. Yeah, just the boards and how he has it set up. Awesome. I honestly one of my favorite rings to bump in.
That's awesome.
oh, the ring just never moved. It looked like one of those Mexican boxing rings. Like that's what it looked like. It just like as soon as they took a step, there was no give to it. I'm like, oh brother, like this is gonna hurt.
Now, have you ever experienced in deathmatch wrestling?
No, the only type of uh exposure, I should say, that I had to a hardcore match even was that 2 out of 3 falls match with Hudson, and the first fall was a hardcore match. Yeah, I went through a door. Me and Hudson both got split open. And I had that coast to coast. So
Nice.
yeah,
I'm telling you, that trilogy of matches are hands down like the best storytelling in like a set of 3 matches.
I got a question for you then.
Okay.
In that 2 out of 3 falls match, did you like how it was done, where it went from no DQ to submission, then straight up pinfall?
No, I think it should have been the other way around.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You don't think so?
No, I mean, me and Hudson, we were both kind of skeptical about it, but Hunter Payne, he's one of the board of directors for SCW. He helped put it together, and he, like any other place, probably you should have gone the other way, but with how our home crowd is, I think it worked. I I think it worked perfect. From the pop, I was like, damn, how are we gonna top this with the coast to coast?
Mm-hmm.
Then when I hit that elbow drop for the
Mhm.
clean finish, the crowd even erupted even more.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I felt like it was well done in that aspect. But that also goes to, you have to know your crowd and know who you're working.
Right. Yeah, it was very well done. I was taken back when it started out as a hardcore. I was like, oh, I was like, where do we go to from here? You know?
That's everybody's reaction. Then
Yeah.
they see it and they're like, oh, honestly, wasn't that bad.
Right. No, it wasn't. It's just like, oh,
Chris sucks. Chris sucks because every time I tell Chris an idea and I'm like, oh, this is a great idea, I take it to other people. Like, it's an amazing idea. I give it to Chris. Chris is like, I like
Shits
this.
all
And I'm
over
like,
it.
you're such a dick. Like, everybody loved it. And you're just like, no, do this. And it's not even much. It's just turn this suplex to this. And it's like, fuck off, dude. It was great the way I had it. You know, that's been my life with Chris, with anything.
Oh,
We
yeah.
were bowlers. We were bowlers, and Chris was a better
Hey!
bowler. And
I actually bowl too.
oh,
If I can
Uh-oh.
maneuver this. Oh, can't see. There we go.
what do we got?
Oh,
Oh,
look at those.
what is that there? Is that a 300 plaque?
No, but I can show you my 300 ring.
Oh,
I
how
got-
many do you have?
I've got 10 of them. If you want one, I'll send you one.
Hey, PayPal. I'll do something. I got you. But I've bowled a couple. I have one sanctioned, so that's all I care about. It was a big tournament too.
My feather in my hat is I won the men's state bowling tournament. However, that really didn't count because everybody else was at a different tournament that weekend. Wasn't my fault. I won what was in front of me. You fight the wrestler who's in front of you. Okay. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? So you fight the fight in front of you. I don't care what everybody else is doing.
Now,
I
you
won the
ready?
fucking
You
tournament.
ready for this? You ready for this story to come full circle? Remember about a couple minutes ago when he said I shit on everything? He calls me and he tells me, "Oh, I won the Florida State championship." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." I go, "How much did you win?" He goes, $95. I go,
Yeah, nobody was there. It fucking sucked, but I
and
won.
he goes, I go, "How much was your hotel?" And he goes, "This much." And I go, and he goes, like, "How much was your gas?" And he goes, "Well, I split it." I'm like, "Okay." I go,
I
did you
spent
eat?
money to go win the tournament, but I still got the fucking plaque that I wanted. Suck.
All that
my-
matters, man.
That's all
And then all you heard on the other line of the phone was just air, and he's like, "Bro, fuck you, man." He goes, "You always ruin on my play." I'm like, "Was it worth
Mind
it?"
you,
Like,
Oh god.
Mind you, I hadn't bowled in like a year and a half. I got a call. They said, "Yo, are you sanctioned?" And I was like, "I can get sanctioned in a couple of minutes. Like, let me just do it really quick." And my buddy Chris Gordon's like, "Oh, I can't bowl this weekend in the men's state. I got something else I got to do." And I said, "All right, cool." So I went up with the team and I go like 279, 250, 230. Ended up fucking coming in first, and we came in second for teams, and I did great. And then after I get the payout, and I'm like,
Well,
fuck.
shit.
It sucks, but we got drunk at the Hard Rock. It was fun. So James Creed, now is the time I have to ask you the tough questions.
I've been preparing.
You've been preparing. All right.
Yes.
So first questions first. Are you a WWE guy or an AEW guy?
I train on both days, so I just watch highlights.
There you go. Okay. All right. Now, second question. If you had two contracts, equal contracts sitting in front of you, AEW, WWE, same amount of nights throughout the year, same amount of money, same title runs, same wins, same losses, same everything. Who do you pick up?
Um,
You can answer this
Wait.
question however you want. If you want to bury yourself, bury a company, I don't care. Whatever you remember, it's your future, pal. This may get out. I don't know.
I would say based on right now, being young, only 23 years old, I would say AEW
Okay.
because for the simple fact of health insurance. They got health insurance, and also they have a really awesome, dope locker room. Not saying that NXT doesn't. I would honestly like see, now I see why you're saying it's a really tough decision because
You actually have a
WWE
future in
has
this shit,
the
bro.
Performance Center.
Yeah.
WWE has the Performance Center, and that would be really awesome, especially being young. I would be there every day if I could. But also with AEW, I would also get to work my home company independents around here, and meet a ton of awesome people, make awesome new connections, and also health insurance. So it's tough,
Other
but
hand,
I
you
would
just
say
sniff Stephanie McMahon.
my answer could change tomorrow. I don't know. But right now, I would say AEW with the sole reason primarily coming out is working other independents like my home company. I help out a lot with that, and also the health insurance. Those are the two big reasons. But like I said, I could change my answer tomorrow.
Yeah.
I
That's how
mean,
close
you
it
can
is.
bounce off of that, Joe. Is I think I saw Brian Cage is going to be on a card that you're on, or you're on his card.
Warrior Wrestling.
Yes.
I'm actually going up there to help out with that.
Okay.
So, but yeah, he's also going to be there too.
Yeah.
Brian
So
Cage has worked one of my home company shows too.
yeah. So like you got that, and it's they're allowing the wrestlers to
Yep.
Yeah.
and to where the other company WWE has a stranglehold on everything, merchandise, everything, likenesses, everything like that. So it's a double-edged sword. It's a tough question.
AEW is more of a franchise. WWE is more corporate kind of deal. You can get a lot away with a lot more franchise companies, and they have health insurance. I wonder how that works. Like if you get injured outside of AEW, like
I don't know.
health insurance still kick in, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll fix it." You tore your rotator cuff at this fucking show you made $60 at or something. Like is it worth it to them to?
Yeah.
How's that work? I wonder.
I don't
don't
think
know.
Brian Cage is making $60. I'm just letting you know that.
All right, well, I don't think Casey Navarro is the biggest fucking payday either, but
Right.
you get what I'm saying. So James Creed, wow, this has been it, man. There's definitely gonna be a part 2 here.
Definitely. I'm
There's
down to come on anytime, man.
Dude, there's so much more about you, and we'll definitely get that out to the people. This was just a little smidgen for them.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Very tough schedule, obviously. Your shoot job and your work job are exactly the same. You're a wrestler through and through, man. And I look at you and I see a lot of what reminds me of I don't know if you know who he is, Cameron McLeod Stewart, CMS. He's been
I've heard
on
him.
AEW. He's
Yeah.
he's out of Boston. The kid's 20 years old. He's been at AEW 3 times now. He's come down for CCW. The kid's traveling his ass off, working his ass off just to make it to the next show and make whatever payoff some cheap promoter will give him. And that's what you're doing. I would love to see you two mix it up in the ring one day. And you have made me fall in love with an elbow drop again. So thank you for that.
Same thing with DDT, man. DDTs and elbow drops are or should be a finish, man. When done correctly, you can't just use it for a transitional.
What's missing in wrestling? Before we go, what's missing in wrestling?
Fundamentals.
I'm talking to you, Christopher.
people are just doing moves for the sake of just doing moves to pop themselves, to pop the boys. Like, no, we're out there for the fans and to put out the most. It's a fight, and people aren't treating it as a fight anymore. They're treating it as choreographed wrestling, I guess, but choreographed fighting, I should say. And they're not making it believable. Like, we don't make wrestling, or we independent wrestlers make wrestling fake. And I'm just tired of people seeing people do like these moves just to do them, man.
Is the product in trouble, or is indie wrestling saving the product?
I don't want to say it's in trouble because I feel like there's a wrestling resurgence coming soon.
Yeah, I think it's already on the rise. On the rise.
Yeah. But, and you get the really good independents that put out really great product, but then you see people just doing moves just willy-nilly, dude. Canadians, super kicks, those are all overdone. Granted, yeah, I have done a few Canadians here, but not a fan of them.
Get it? No, I get it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's been James Creed. So here's what every wrestler gets. Now's your time, Daddy. Just like Dusty Rhodes used to call him out. Floor is yours. You got 60 seconds. Tell us who you are and why we should care.
Oh God.
Yeah, where's the promo skill at, Daddy?
I am the real sharpshooter, James Creed, based in Sniper City, USA. And you better be careful, man, because if the bullseye don't get you, you're going to be looking down the barrel no matter what.
There you go. It's real simple. I love that shit, dude.
Short and sweet, baby.
I love short and sweet, man. I don't like that shit long. You know what else I don't like long, Chris? I don't like looking at your face.
Stupid.
No. You say it when I tell you to say it. All right? Now you say it.
Okay. Something stupid.